This video is brought to you by Ravenscraft Realty of Northeast Missouri.
All right, I'm back from vacation. Had a nice little 2.75 day getaway to Disney World. Had a couple beers at Epcot. It was a good time. But anyways, now I'm playing musical tractors with the 4020 and both 4320s because I've got a limited timetable to get some things done. As in, I need to get the remotes off the 4020 by Sunday night. Well, Monday night, I guess. But I'm going to use 4020 to pull start the 4320s because they're both being cantankerous little pricks because it's cold and they don't want to charge and they don't want to start. So we're just going to pull start them. So far, this thing hasn't let me down cold starting, but we will see. You know, I kind of wish this thing had an air stack so I could just shoot it up with ether from the seat, but it doesn't. It'll be okay, probably. 3 points all the way down. Let's see what she's got. Come on. No, don't slow down on me now, old girl. You got it. Oh, I just broke the key. Oh no. So we will not be using the 4020 today. Ah, man. I cannot believe I just screwed that up. The repair of shame. I am very disappointed in myself. Thank goodness I hadn't thrown away the ignition from the 4320 that I replaced in late September, early October, because this one wasn't actually bad. It was something else that was bad, and I just replaced this because it was the first thing in the order of things that could mess up that I could think of. So this one's still good. I'm going to throw it in the 4020 and see what happens. And I did plug in the block heater, so it should start a little bit easier now. And I have my can of glow plugs ready, and I might have to throw the battery charger on it for a little while and let it kind of recoup, but please start. Please start. Here we are making a farming home run at 6 o'clock on a Friday because I need electrical connectors. I got the 345 and the 20-foot batwing here, and we're gonna go mow my new farm. The 4020 saga from yesterday is gonna continue into this afternoon, unfortunately, because there's wires and all those wires look the same. I should have taken better pictures before I took it apart. Here we are in West Central Illinois once again. I really don't like to be over here this much, especially since I'm coming over to pick up Dad from a broke down tractor that we brought over here to replace a broke down tractor that was itself brought over here to replace a broke down tractor. So we've been braking and alternating between a 9620RX and a 9520RX, and they're both having the same issue now. What am I supposed to do? I've been trying for like a month to get all this ripping over here done, or Dad and I and Jaden, and we just haven't been able to do it. Oh well. At least this ground lays nice though, if that's any consolation for thousands of dollars and dozens of hours wasted.
A little bit of luck. I'll have the ripping here done south of Hull yet today. Been kind of a struggle at times. We got this 520 fixed, which is what I'm in at the moment. After the turbo incident, come to find out that new EGR tube needed a thermostat housing. It was changed as well. It has a stud that helps support that heavier tube. Got that all fixed. In the meantime, we brought the 620 over. It decided to throw some fuel pressure codes and exhaust cleaning wasn't working, so it's got a dosing valve that has to be replaced. So here today on Saturday, I brought the 520 that just got fixed back over the hull, hook back up to the ripper, and we've got another pass or two left and some in-rows. It's going pretty decent, actually. It's dried out, firmed up pretty good. I did have to go back and get a set of fuel filters to change for it. Starting to show some fuel pressure codes. Everything looked good with the filters, but it didn't work before, and now it does. So I guess that was the problem. Yep, that's a good sign. Folding up means I got it done. Everything held together. I guess the fuel filters were a problem. Changed them out and it worked, so I'll go with it.
So you guys remember the broken tractors and everything? Well, Ella and I, we went to Mimi's and she dropped me off at the 520. We're gonna take it back home today. His dad was able to finish ripping this piece at long last night. So I hope that it holds together long enough to get me home, but we shall see. All right, it started, so I guess we can go home. And there's the broken 620. Not sure what's wrong with it. Where are we at today? Ah, surprise, surprise. We're working on old tractors yet again. So now I'm getting to changing the fuel filter here on the 7020, which is as easy as taking the old one, doing that, taking your new one, slapping it on, and then priming it again, and wham bam, thank you Sam, you are done. Once you get the new filter on, there's a little nut on the side, on the left hand side I guess. You got to take that loose with the 9/16 wrench, and then the hand pump, the one that you use your index finger, it's below the injection pump, at least on a 404 with a turbo. You pull that until fuel comes out of the check screw, and then you get in the cab or the open station, whatever you may have, and turn the key, shoot it with some ether, and it should go. Ooh. Yeah, hear that? That's air leaving the filter and fuel taking its place. I got the 7020 fired back up after my fuel filter change, so I just got her out for a little test drive around the block. And she is, of course, performing as always, which is flawlessly. You know, I'm still not quite used to having a cab on a tractor that I am. It's nice to not eat dust and smoke and everything, but you have glass to keep clean, you have a floor to keep clean. But you know what? I can handle it. I'm a big boy. It's slightly breezy today, as you may be able to hear. Kind of like that day in the 100-acre woods with in the book, like Winnie the Pooh, but whatever. I was just in Disney World, so my mind's still on Disney mode. So, the 4020, right? We were going to use this to pull start the 4320, or both 4320s probably. But we couldn't, because I broke the key off in the switch. Oops. And no problem, I had another ignition. However, that turned out to be a big problem, because I knew that I was going to have wiring issues because the wires were all bare and cracked and questionable looking. So I trimmed them all back to where they were okay. Plugged them all back into the right places. Click, nothing. But the switch works. I can get the pump to turn on, but I couldn't get the starter to chooch until after my man Rob got here and just looked at it and said, try it now. And I turned the key and it went. However, I couldn't start it because I had already pulled both remotes off. I'm going to send them up to Ted Broxma. He's up in Sibley, Iowa. Have him converted over to Pioneer fittings because I don't want to deal with having more than one type of fitting around here. So, yeah, there goes And I'm getting a new wiring harness. Guess how much that costs? Put the answer down in the comments below. Closest guess gets a virtual high five and bragging rights. But I have to spend money on that. It's going to be $800 a piece to convert the remotes over to ISO and have them rebuilt. And then while I'm at it, I'm just going to go ahead and get the barrels for the 7020 so it can take Pioneer as well, so that I don't have to use adapters to run my disc. Basically, it's January 15th, or it's January 16th today. I've already spent a lot of money this year. So they may be little tractors, but I'm having big problems, mostly related to my own faults, I guess, but it's just money, right? I think I'm going to say goodbye to these little girls for a little while because class starts tomorrow at 8 a.m. and I need to go back to Columbia. Also, this is our new furry friend. Its name is Quandale Dingle. She's a good little kitty cat, very cuddly and soft. Meow, meow.
You can just be sure.
All right, we are back here south of Hull. I'm gonna get the 620 because it's fixed for now, and Dad's dropping me off here, and after this, I'm going back to Columbia. Any words?
Don't call it a race.
Okay. Okay, please work. Well, that's a start. Luckily, this has been an uneventful drive, so yeah, boring is good. If something's interesting, it's not good. All right, she's home. I just put gas in the car, and Dad's loading up a tractor, and I think it's about time to go.
Ew, 9570 RX. Been trying to sell it. Tractor house, that kind of deal. Gonna take it down to Paris to Wheeler's auction for next Saturday the 28th, so if you need one, it'll be there. Stopped in at the bin site. I'm getting some fancy roll-up doors on my dump building. Not something we're going to use every time we're in and out, but it will help keep the weather out when it's just sitting here the off season. They look pretty nice. They better. Got the tractor delivered to Paris with no problems. Now I'm hauling beans, and so are a lot of other people. Like when I pulled up, looked like there are probably a dozen trucks in each line, plus whatever's out front and what's behind me. Busier than harvest. Been at shop work kind of week. Oh, guys just got done. You can't really see it, but put a new radiator in this Cascadia. We've been working on this combine, just changing things that need worn out, belts, chains, adjust this, adjust that. Yeah. A couple pieces of concave broke out. I had to change that too. Some bearings. Currently working on taking a link out of the feeder house chain. Hopefully that will let it get by for another year. There's a couple more belts that were shot. Gotta change those. Also been servicing out the skid loader. Changed the engine oil, fuel filters, hydraulic filters, all that stuff. It's always amazing how they can cram an engine and all this other stuff that they need to make it work in a very small spot. But despite that, the filters are actually not that bad to get to. Gotta grease it up, take it outside, blow the radiator out, and call it good. Well, this doesn't look good. We were actually changing the radiator there last week, found a bunch of oil inside this pipe right there, which means turbo no longer functioning as it's supposed to. And right over here, replacement turbo. So, fun part is getting the other one out. Anything with the exhaust, manifold kind of bolts, Already had one break off. That's about par for the course. I also just got done putting my tracks on the Gator. If nothing else, it looks mean. Actually, I boundaried one field here today with the RTK, and I thought it was awful rough on the tires, but it was frozen. So when it's frozen, no give to the ground. So we'll see if these tracks, if they float across like I'm planning to. They kind of came with the Gator. A guy who had it before, I guess, had a stud tracks. I'm not sure the reasoning. If he didn't want them anymore, or what exactly happened. It took me about two and a half hours or so to put them on. It'd be easy the second go around. I'm out boundarying some fields on the Gator, right here next to the sale barn, and I've attracted quite the audience. I came across the field and they came running. Sorry, I don't have anything to eat.
Oh, last weekend was Wheeler's sale. I saw several of my viewers there. It was good to see everybody. Thank you for saying hi. And Dad did buy a pickup. I didn't buy anything, sadly. But, well, maybe I shouldn't be sad about that. But anyways, Dad just fired up the Gator, and we are going to go do an RTK mapping boundary on one of my farms. And I'm just kind of genuinely curious, and I'm going to go see what it's all about, see if I can do it myself. This is the first time I've driven my pickup for a while. It went into town because the front end was doing typical Dodge front end things and was in need of 4 ball joints and some other things. It's also noteworthy that our Gator now has tracks on it instead of tires. They ride pretty cool. It's definitely a lot different ride and experience than a Gator or a side-by-side on wheels. It rides smoother, but they make a lot of noise, and it's not quite as fast on the road. But you can float right over a little ditch or any kind of obstacle like that along the edge of the field. So that's nice, especially when you're going around and doing RTK boundaries on the edges of fields. And this is Northeast Missouri, guys. We have a lot of small fields and weird shapes, so it helps to be able to have a nice ride around the edge of the field. I had this farm here in beans this year, planted all of it with my 4020 and the 7000, and I had some assistants, these little beagle dogs that live here, belong to my landlord, and they made certain, in fact, that there were no rabbits in the field. Hello, little puppy. Come here. Hello, little baby. Oh, not sure about me. Here we are mapping my farm here. Several small kind of fields. And this one's about 2.5 or so acres. And this kind of takes a while. There's a couple different buttons you got to press here on the monitor to get the Gator to record an RTK line for your field boundary, but it's not too difficult. Hopefully in the next coming weekends I can go do more of this on other farms. Dad's just getting back from mapping another farm, and him and I are going somewhere. We are going to the Forbidden Equipment Dealership, Beard Implement. They're having a big open house tonight because they just added on to their dealership, and we live like 3/4 of a mile away from them, so why not go out? I kind of got to know, I talked to some of their staff a little bit, a bunch of nice guys, so if I were running Case IH, I would not hesitate to do business with them. You can actually see my reflection in this thing. I didn't think it was going to clean up this nice. This afternoon, I got the 4020 all put back together. Wiring harness is done. All the lights work, and they work well, I might add. And all the dash lights have power, but a couple of them don't even have bulbs, so they don't do anything quite yet. But I'm working on it. Radio works, monitor works. Not that bad of a tractor. And since I had all the sheet metal and everything off of it, I decided to go ahead and buff and wax what I had off. I still need to do the front panels here, but that can be another weekend project, because this weekend is about up. And I also got all of my hydraulic stuff back from Ted Broxma. He's up in like Iowa, extreme northern Iowa, and I'm pretty happy with that as well. Continuity on this video is absolutely terrible, so I'm sorry about that. But I put a different starter on it, different starter solenoid. Well, different starter solenoid came with the different starter relay, and of course all new wiring harness, and there went $1,200 hard-earned dollars. And I summoned a ride, which is Dad in my pickup, which has new front end under it. Thank you, Dodge. Here it is, Monday morning. Usually I'm in Columbia right now, but had some things I wanted to take care of here at home, so I stayed here on Sunday night, and don't have class until noon, which is in 2 hours. I just had to renew the tags on my pickup and go to Side Stricker and order some parts for the 4020. I got a PTO seal and the snap ring for the PTO shaft. However, I didn't realize that you also, if you're gonna do the seal, you should do the O-ring, the gasket, and the PTO shaft guide. So I got that stuff on the way, and I should have gotten, duplicates of everything for the 72 4320 that we're gonna keep. Last night I worked on the two 4320s for a while, swapping over the remotes and everything. So that's mostly buttoned up and done, but I just need to put it all back together, put the sheet metal back on. And hopefully in the near future, we'll have a 71 4320 for sale. So if you're interested, shoot me a message and we'll work out a deal. And now I begin my long and treacherous journey back to Columbia. Well, that's it, folks. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one. At Mizzou.